Hi everyone, welcome back to Spiritual Growth Tarot and Astrology. I'm Denise. So I have some charts here that I found some interesting correlations to in regards to the January 6 hearings. So I took the start time of the J6 hearings and put it in the January insurrection chart when that happened. So I have that's pretty interesting. I also did the J6 hearings in the U.S. Constitution chart. That's really interesting. And then also the the Sibley Independence, USA Independence chart. So, let me show you what I have. I'm not going to go through every single little thing, but I'm just going to, show you these hot points. So, give me a moment while I bring this other camera down over my table and show you these charts. It's really, really interesting. Okay, hold on. Be right back. Okay, so I'm going to go through the first three charts as quickly as I can because I really want to show you the most important, which is the January 6th hearings in Donald John Trump's chart, how it will affect him, and then also with the Sagittarius full moon that's right on his south node and moon. Okay, that full supermoon we have coming up. So anyway, so this is just to remind you here, this inner wheel is the insurrection when it actually happened, 12 p.m. January 6, 2021. Okay, and then this outer wheel is the hearings, which will start today, June 9th. And, it's about this time. But anyway, these planets have they have fluidly put themselves with the beauty of my astrology program into this chart. So that's why it has the 23 degrees ascendant in Aries. And so if you just kind of reel yourself back in time that day, we had this stellium of planets up here at Sun conjunct Pluto, Mercury, Saturn, Jupiter, all together in a stellium, even though it's two different signs. We had the rebels, we had the explosion of rebels who wanted to create their own new rules with Jupiter and Saturn. And then we had, the power of who has control, basically, is what all that was about. And I don't need to reiterate that too much, you guys know. But that day, in that place, Washington, D.C., and I know that it doesn't explain it here, but that's exactly what it is Washington, D.C. Those are the, it doesn't even show the coordinates there, but anyway, trust me that it is. Anyway, so here we had an Aries ascendant, and Mars rules Aries, so Mars would be the ruler of, this natal chart here, right? And then Mars is here in the first house, and it's conjunct Uranus, the planet of rebellion and unpredictability. And Mars just, moved that energy at that anaretic degree of 29 degrees Aries. Wow. So of course, that's what happened. But now, and without going into all the, we had, a square to the moon that day, the moon in Libra. Now we have the moon in Libra again today. Libra's all about justice. And then we had this sesquisquare down here to the north, the transiting north node. And the nodes were in, Gemini, North Node, trying to get to the facts and what's the truth and details, just information being passed around all over the place. And then, of course, with the South Node and Sag, we're in that realm of, religious dogma, political dogma, all of that. And then we had this aspect of the architect coming here from the South Node to the moon, down here to the North Node that day. And it just opened up this doorway to these people going nuts, and they did, right? And especially true because the North Node is right up here squaring Neptune. See that, just 1 degree apart there. Crazy times. So now with the, the January 6th hearing starting today, the moon will be illuminating everything from that day. The moon is about the people in mundane astrology. It's about the people in the public and the past. So they will be shining a light on the past and all the relationships, Libra, all the relationships that were involved. And this is, an event chart that is setting off something, okay? So when it starts at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific, we should be seeing all the relationships of the people involved, and they're going to be laying things out, I would think, in a very, balanced manner. Like, it won't be a lot of just like crazy, too much information all at one time. I think they're going to go slow and carefully, very carefully. But look at this. The moon was at 20 degrees Libra that day, right, on the insurrection. And here it is again, it's at 18 degrees Libra. So if they get started a little bit later, I don't know if they will or not, I imagine things will go right on time. But still, we've got, it's a pretty tight orb. It's only, 2 degrees there. Even less. So let's see. So then the moon, we have the moon at 18, squaring the sun up here at 16, and Pluto at 24. That's an orb. So as that moon starts transiting this way, it's going to cross over. So the 6th house is the details, right? Details and the service as to who these, they're going to be, the January 6th committee will be in service giving us the details as to who was in service that day doing their dirty deeds. And then as the moon travels this way into the 7th house of relationship, we're going to start to see we're going to get the illumination to the public of who was actually committed, right? Who committed into these relationships and partnerships? Who did this? And of course, with the South Node in the 8th house that day, January 6, 2021, we can see that there was political funding. There was Jenny Thomas, there was Alex Jones, there were all these people who thought that they could get away with this. And I guess that guy named Doug Mastriano, I think, funded like 130 people getting on a bus, bringing them in. So, travel, political protest, but riot turned into a riot. Wait till you see Trump's chart when I get to that. Whew. Okay, so, and the 8th house, remember, is about shared resources. And it's also the house of death. People died. 5 people died. And the others are still traumatized. They're working their way through it, but they're still traumatized. Okay, and the 8th house, besides being shared, resources like the people who paid for the travel in, that will be illuminated as the moon, because the moon's going to transit through all these houses, right? And over the days and weeks, we'll just keep seeing more and more. But when we have that super full moon, it's going to be up in here somewhere. Like, right, it's going to cross over this South Node in Sag. So we're really going to see the illumination of the past. And by the time I get done with these charts, if you guys have any doubt in astrology, I don't think, if it started with any doubt, does astrology really work? I don't think you'll have it at the end of this, because it's quite amazing. It still blows me away to this day. I don't know why I'm surprised, but so anyway, so I'm just going to go, I'm not going to, go through everything, but I want to look at the fact that Pluto's up here, conjunct Mercury and Saturn. And I mean, it's in a tight enough orb actually with, all of these planets. But just imagine Pluto was here at one point, like that day that it happened, January 6, 2021, the sun was conjunct Pluto. So Pluto would have been transiting like right here. And, you know, if this were a natal chart, it would look different. But anyway, so it's transited over, it's crossed over all of these planets here since that day. It's crossed over Pluto conjunct Mercury. And now it's exactly right. It's right there on Mercury, but it's retrograde back because Pluto went forward, and then it started its retrogradation process, and it's now back over here. I think it went to, was it a later degree, or did it even make it to 29? I can't remember. I'd have to look back. But anyway, so Pluto on Saturn is, remember, in mundane astrology, Saturn would be the government. It would be the laws, the rules, codes of ethics, that we live under, that regulate humanity in Aquarius. Aquarius would be about humanity and our goals and wishes and dreams and aspirations, right? Well, Pluto's been up here kind of blowing things up, blowing up the government, blowing up the way that we can see who the dirty people are. It's been revealing, it's been purging. This is literally the planet that has revealed all the swamp creatures that Trump brought in, even though he said he was going to drain the swamp. Well, he is the swamp. And now we see it all. And by the end of these hearings, oh man. So Saturn has transited from here over to here now in that year and a half. And it's now in the 11th house, which is the Aquarian house, which is, hopes, wishes, dreams, goals, groups, and organizations, right? So the dirty, dark money that funded this rebellion, we're going to see those groups and organizations, because Saturn is the taskmaster. Saturn is trying to create structure that we can live within. So it's up to us. What do we want to? How do we want to live? Is this what we want? And Saturn is in this. Maybe I can draw it here. Saturn has been in this T square. See how the North Node's right here, and Saturn's here, and then we have the other. Let's see. So the nodes are always in opposition here, and Saturn transiting Saturn. Well, it's hard to see. It doesn't look like it. It's not looking in relationship to the T square that it actually is, because of the way this chart had to bring in everything in such a tight orb into, this one house. But look how we have 22 degrees here, Scorpio, 22 degrees here, Taurus. That's our nodal polarity that we all have going on right now. And then Saturn is actually squaring the South Node and the North Node. So Saturn's up here going, hey, what are the real rules? What's really going on? This violence happened in the past. We're not safe going into the future. And what are the rules? We need new rules. So this is setting up, the beauty of those transits. And the sun is here shining the light on the North Node, in the past with the information that was, because this is where the nodes were when it happened. And now the sun at 19 degrees Gemini is right there conjunct. It's going to shine the light on, we get to decide which way to go based on what happened in the past. And it might just, turn out to be the vote. Okay, so now let's look at this. So here's the J6 hearings. Here's our USA Constitution wheel in the center. And again, I'm just going to go over the conjunctions and the hot points, not too much with the squares, because it's too, all the other aspects, I'll be here for, I could be here for 3 hours with everything, and I'm not going to do that. So, the moon here is illuminating, remember the moon's a public, illuminating Neptune in Libra when we started our Constitution, September 17th, 1787, we had the decision, or, the, the way it was brought together, we decided that we wanted to source ourselves in the relationship of others. We wanted to have shared resources. And we wanted things to be peaceful, and we wanted things to be fair and equal. So the moon is illuminating that and asking, is this fair that these people get away with, this violence in the past? Who funded? Remember, because the moon's coming through the 8th house here. Isn't that interesting? Because here we have the Aquarian ascendant when we started our Constitution. So Aquarius used to be ruled by Saturn, but the modern ruler is Aquarius. But if it were Saturn, Saturn's right here, all right? And Uranus, when we started the Constitution, was in Cancer. So Uranus in Cancer is about waking up to honoring all that is sacred and to how do we grow. And we were waking up to service, to our work, to our, the details of life that can keep us in that place where we are Pluto in Aquarius free, Saturn in Aquarius rules to be free, rules, literal rules when our Constitution was created that transformed humanity in the United States, that said we're more than free from Britain, and we're on our own, and now how are we going to function? We needed rules and codes of ethics and conduct, right? So, January 6th happens, blew a lot up here, and then now that we have the hearings, the questions are, what do we want to keep these rules together, or I don't see anything about having new rules. We have Neptune. Well, Neptune, this stellium here is going to help us wake up to our values. It's going to help us move forward. Well, shit, with Chiron there, that's no fun. This whole stellium here in the 2nd house, it has the potential, if it's not handled right, to lose everything. Truly. And that's because Chiron's here. Chiron takes 51 years to go through one sign. So from the Constitution's inception, Chiron was here in Gemini with, new rules for our homeland here, but not everybody had the same idea because, there was still slavery in those days. Yeah. So the sun's already crossed over Chiron to wake us up, of course, to all of that. We are questioning our safety. We're questioning how we want to proceed in terms of, because check this out. Here's that Saturn square, the nodes, right here from the 1st up here to the 9th. The 9th house is about laws and what we believe in. It's one of the things with the 9th house. And then the North node's here in the 3rd house, in the house of community, right? So the community of the United States of America, what do we want? Do we want safety or do we want chaos? Do we want things to fall apart? Are we willing to fight for safety? That's the question here. Okay, so that's the Constitution. I don't feel like going further into that. I still really want to show you Donald Trump's chart. And then, okay, so here we have the independence chart, which, of course was a lot earlier. We're going back in time here. But look at this. The sun is on Mars. So Mars is the motivation, the relationships that we created. Sun conjunct Jupiter, 4th of July, that we had the Sun conjunct Jupiter, Venus, and Mars, and our intention with independence was to band together in a family type fashion that honors all that is sacred, which means we have our own free will, our own right to choose, and we don't have taxation without representation. We need to be free and fair to create our own financial destiny. That's what Pluto and Capricorn was about there. And Pluto was conjunct the South Node. And when this was formed, when the Declaration of Independence was signed, and when, of course, you guys have probably already seen all the readings I've done on the Pluto return. You can see Pluto's still right there. USA is having its first Pluto return. Okay. Saturn is on the moon again, and then that T-square that I was talking about before, it's activating the moon. And the moon in Aquarius that questions, what about our original idea that we had to be autonomous, to be free? And what is freedom? Because, of course, when this happened, when the independence and the Constitution happened, again, slavery was still legal. So we've moved forward somehow, but we're still fighting that. It's not legal anymore, but it's still, the ramifications are still there. And as women and minorities and the vulnerable, we know it deeply. So, but anyway, so Saturn on the moon is an emotional, well, should be a maturing of the emotional needs of the Americans. Right? And it can be extremely sobering. This transit here and this is going to sit there for quite some time because it's retrograde. So it's going to go this way, and then it's going to come back. It's going to activate it. It's going to sit there for quite some time. I think I don't have my notes close by, but I'm pretty sure it's October. I think it might be the end. I think it's October 28th or somewhere in the end of October before Saturn goes direct. And then when it goes direct, we will have that Saturn square Uranus again in a tight orb. See how it's 16 to 25? Uranus will continue moving forward this way. The nodes go backwards. Uranus is going to go this way, and we'll have a tight square. It's still in orb, but it's just not as tight. But it will be this fall. So that's happening at the same time. But the sun is shining for the January 6th hearings. The sun, and this is an event, right? The sun is shining the light on the motivations of people in the past. And how does this relate to our freedom? Because they were coming in there with all this 1776 bullshit, right? And, and let's hang Mike Pence to do that. To get, you know what I mean? It's just, and the atrocities, the horrific, just the horrific violence. That's Mars and Gemini here, where they had their idea and they just went nuts with it. So, yeah, so Mercury will be shining light on the details of the past, but the way it's affecting our independence, that's the transformation. This is the growing up. And Neptune is right down here close to the IC. Jupiter's there as well. And we're like, is this how we want to go forward? What are our real values? Where are we truly sourced? Is it in money or is it in life? And how can those two balance out to be something beautiful and equal? And then notice this. we're having a Chiron, like I said before, it's in this other chart too, this Chiron return, which happens, like I said, every 51 years, 50 to 51 years. So this would be the 5th Chiron return for the USA. And Chiron in Aries brings in that what about me? They don't like being left out. They don't like being left behind. They don't like being abandoned. They don't like being rejected. Sometimes they want to come first. They definitely are daring, and they want to win. And that's, that was our roots. We were like, this is us rebelling back in those days against Great Britain and saying, no, I think we can do this on our own. This is our pioneering spirit that is like the soul of America. And so here we are. It's like, are we gonna lose to the, I don't know, what do you call it? The toxic whatever from within? Because, the January 6th insurrection was a coup against itself, right? Yeah. Okay, so, Uranus in the 5th, it's like the waking up to the will to recreate a whole new experience, and it needs to be happy, and it needs to be safe for children. We've got gun laws in here, we've got, NRA bullshit, we've got all kinds of problems. Now, let's do this. So if I can, I don't know if I have enough room. This looks like a mess, I know, but I promise I'm going to break it down. Will this fit? Okay, yeah. So this is Trump's natal chart. Just to make things a little more clear, because if you look over here as I'm talking about the transits, it might make more sense, I hope. Okay, so let's start with the sun. So this is the January 6th hearing today, and I have to hurry and get this done so I can get it uploaded. Hopefully some of you will see it before the hearings start. I'm not sure, but we'll see. I couldn't have gotten up any earlier. What's the problem? There we go. Hold on. Right there. Okay. So maybe if I scooch this over a little. Okay. So tonight, when the hearings are playing on TV, these are the transits that are happening to him. Okay? All the green lines are all the adjustments that he's... Okay, so first of all, to have this many aspects hitting all your natal planets at the same time is phenomenal. Just to put that out there. Get that. Make sure you get that. Like that, that's the thing that is really crazy. When I looked at this, I was like, whoa! And I had to just draw everything in because there was too much, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't miss anything. Okay, so the sun is on his... So the sun reveals, okay? It's revealing that he was the insider that planned everything. Well, he had people help him, of course. And he had plan A, B, and C, if not more. And the intention to grift off his own people so that he could, just make money off of it. For this whole stop the steal baloney. So, but anyway, the sun reveals. And what's it going to reveal? It's going to shine the light on who he is as the insider. That's what all this is. Up here in the 10th house, the 10th house is his career and his honor and his reputation. We're going to see who he really is, okay? And it's going to be, so as the sun shines its light down here, it's going to be showing who he is. And then his emotional, so the South Node is our past, it's our karma, it's our history, it's where we've left off in our previous lifetime and our intention in this lifetime. And he had, a soul intention to be famous and to incarnate into a wealthy family. yeah, he got those wishes. He's been Teflon Don for all these years, but this transit here with the sun is like shining a big old spotlight on this and all of this down here, right? This is his wanting to win at any cost. And he was born under an eclipse. So this isn't going to go well for him. He was born under a full moon eclipse when the moon opposes the sun. Okay, so, but look at all these contact points. I'll just, if this is just too much to look at over here, focus here and I'll talk you through it. So let's go from the sun to the moon. First of all, remember that the sun rules his chart because the sun rules Leo. And whatever sign is on the ascendant, whatever planet rules that sign is the planet that rules the person's chart. So the sun rules his chart. So his sun in Gemini is really important because, this is his, and please, if you're Gemini, don't take this on. This is only in the most negative sense. It's his two-faced, say anything to get attention and say anything to get what he wants. His Pluto in the 12th shows that he was a born psychopath. If you have Pluto in the 12th, please don't take this on. Mars on his ascendant shows that he'll do anything to get the attention he wants and to get what he wants. Okay? So, look at these aspects to his Mars on his and to his ascendant. And the ascendant magnetizes whatever degree and sign you have on your ascendant. That will show what you will magnetize throughout your life as like a baseline. And then, your progress ascendant will keep shifting. But anyway, that's another whole thing. Let go of that. So Mars here in aspect, in a square, we've got a grand trine. Okay, no, it's more grand trine. What am I saying? We've got a grand cross. So we've got 4 squares here. We've got, I've drawn the stronger ones in here to hitting the moon. Okay, so the transits he has going on to his natal chart when the hearings start this afternoon, this evening, will be that, I don't even know where to start, man. Seriously. Well, because Mars is on his ascendant, let's start there. Mercury squaring his Mars. Mercury is the messenger. It will be it will be affecting him at his deepest, like that level of motivation and level of life force into a place of like, oh crap, what do I do now? Oh no, they're talking about me. It's in his 10th house of reputation and career. It's all about me. It's going to turn out to be all about me. Oh no, what do I do? And it's opposing Mercury shining light on the past, what he did in the past. And the past is down here at the root of his, it's conjunct his IC, which is, the root of who he is. And the node's going, transiting this way, it's going to continue to where everybody's going to keep talking about it and talking about it and talking about it until we get to the truth. So then and then from the south node, the Saturn square, the nodes that I've been talking about every week in my, weekly astrology transits, Saturn has fallen in his 6th house of service, so where he needs to wake up and take self-responsibility for what he's creating and has created in the past, is affecting his work and service. So will he be able to even run for president again? I think not. Now, let's see. So, yeah, because the north node up here, remember, like I said, the nodes go backwards. So the north node is going to keep going this way, and it's going to stay in his 9th house of courts of law. His natal Chiron, here, let me go over here. Let's talk about this. his natal Chiron in the second house in Libra brings in someone who in a past life lost everything, including relationships, due to major problems within relationships. And he's repeating it again in this lifetime. He's going to have to lose everything, including relationships, due to litigation because of his big fat mouth and his lies, his Neptune square. And if you have Mercury square Neptune, do not take this on, because it does not always mean that somebody's a liar. It does not. But in his case, it does. He's like what's that word when they, oh my goodness, I can't remember, but like people who just can't stop lying. It's like an illness. But he does it just to get what he wants. So yeah. Now with the transits, the moon at 18 degrees Libra is on. It's already crossed over his Chiron, and we've all been talking about him and wondering, is he really this guilty? And yeah, of course. And now the moon is on Jupiter, and it's going to blow up all of his, his motivations, but also his relationships, because it's in Libra. So I think it's going to hurt him tremendously to find out that his dear daughter, little princess, has thrown him under the bus, and maybe even Don Jr. We'll see. But anyway, and this natal Chiron, this is also that aspect that revealed how he lost his mother's care as an infant in this lifetime. In his last lifetime, he may have literally lost her. But in this lifetime, she had to be put in the hospital, and it just took her away. He was pretty much raised by his older sisters, and then like a nanny caretaker that also took care of the house. So whatever. Yeah, that was his karma. So in adulthood now, life can be turning into an experience with these transits that completely changes his values. And now it might be more about survival. And that's especially with, Venus is squaring his natal Pluto here, from the transiting Venus here. See how that squares his natal Pluto? This is a big, big problem for him, because now it might be more, because Venus, especially in Taurus, can be more about survival, and Pluto in the 12th house can be about imprisonment. And we're talking like your soul that has to go through something to completely transform. And so now that Venus is squaring his natal Pluto, we're in that realm of his self-undoing. Like I said, prison, incarceration, or at least house arrest, home arrest, can't get away, that kind of thing. And then this transiting moon in Libra is also squaring his natal Saturn up here. See this big fat line? Squaring his Venus and Saturn. So he's got it from one end to Pluto, and then from this end to the other. He's not going to like what's coming out in the public sphere about him. Now, of course, Fox News isn't covering it, and a lot of people, whoever his sycophants are, they still will be. They won't, and then when he gets locked up, it'll be so unfair. Anyway, so shining the light on the past and who he really is. This contact up here from the moon to, even though the blues can be a little, they're supposed to be easier transits, not always. Just remember that most of all, they're contact points. Okay, so the moon is also contacting his sun, Uranus, or sun, North Node in Uranus. So the moon's over here, and it's contacting all of this here, right? And it's blowing it up because he's got it natally, right? So imagine like putting the moon down here. The moon's already been over his Neptune. He's been probably wondering like, what about, I wonder if my kids have turned on me. Oh no, right? And then he's feeling that wounding of, because he deserves it, betrayal in relationship, and what do we do, kind of thing. And then, so it's triggering, it's trying, who he is in his core essence. So there's that. Okay, so what else before I move on? Yeah, Chiron is contacting his south node and moon. So the deepest, his deepest wounding is being activated by the moon here and by transiting Chiron here. Okay. His karma is literally just, like hitting him upside the head. The moon is also in contact up here to, that stellium. And then this aspect of the architect here is like I've always seen it as the lever law in spirituality, like a spiritual principle, spiritual law of a lever law, which means that there's a buildup, and then when the opportunity is perfect, the door opens. So this door is going to open to the past. So he will be revealed as the insider, and it will trigger America's deep wounding, around survival, and then it'll hit his past life point and his own moon and open. It's like everything. The way I see it is like, maybe don't look over there, is like the transits are all set up to just open in a way that everything falls back down here on his past. Yeah. Can you take that much when the door opens, right? So anyway, and if none of that's enough, we have Chiron opposing. He has Chiron transiting Chiron in opposition to his natal Chiron. So that's a real reckoning. Now it can create a breakthrough if you're working in the light, but for him, he needs to get lessons, like I said, upside the head. And then Mars is opposing this stellium down here in Libra that he has. This stellium natally has been about him being able to manipulate in relationship, and but he does it with his money, right? And then he demands loyalty and threatens. And I could only imagine what a monster he's been, in relationship. I could only imagine. So, okay, so back here, so Pluto is in conjunct to his Mars. So Pluto is the planet of transformation going through his 5th house where he needed to reinvent himself, but no, he didn't. Instead, he doubled down. And he's, but then again, he still is stuck in there with the grifting mode because he's so good at it. But the inconjunct creates the need for an adjustment. And the adjustment needs to come from what he really wants. And I think in the future, what he's really going to want is his freedom. And I don't think he's going to get it. Either in his physical body or locked up. I've gotten that. I got clearly last Saturday when I asked that question on my channel, a live stream with Scott Allen. Scott Allen, Spiritual Essence, because I wanted to see what he got too, when I'm pretty sure we both got the same thing. I know for sure what I got. It was, I used the Kipper, and I got, come on, this card that I've never gotten for him before. And my question was, what will happen to him? Will he be charged with inciting a riot? Which is pretty close to treason. I mean, they don't would quarter and kill you anymore, or hang you, but I think it's like 10 or 20 years in prison. I think it's 10. Was it 10 years? I can't remember. Anyway, there I put the link. Hold on, I have it. It's this document here. You can go online and find it. Council of District of Columbia code for them. Rioting or inciting to riot. and it's a bunch of pages here. I posted it in my community section, and you can just go there and look and keep scrolling down until you find it, and then you can read it and see what you guys think. But I got he was going down because of that. So why am I telling you all this here? Well, just to show you the beauty of astrology. So transiting Mars, opposing this stellium, is going to have him he wants tremendously to control others. And Jupiter in Aries, Mars in Aries, all of that stellium there in his 8th house, and then with Neptune there too, he's delusional about how he can do that, because Neptune is squaring his sun, Neptune squaring his moon and sun. Neptune in this T-square here, this is dementia. In his case. For someone else, it could be a very spiritual, a beautiful spiritual awakening where, you really tune into the universe and you're in a very compassionate place, but not him. This is him trying to control other people all his life, and it's not, now that it doesn't work, it's gonna be a shattering of reality for him. And this stellium up here in the 8th house is him trying to control everyone, but it's going to be his deepest wounding. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. They are going to see him as the person who incited the riot that caused people to die. So I don't know how many counts of inciting a riot he can go down for, but each person that died, I would think, be at least one count. I would hope. Yeah. Okay, so we've covered that. So all of these green lines are all the ways that he's going to have to adjust himself because of the transits that have been coming through in action. And it's like a culmination point. It's amazing. So from Saturn to Saturn in conjunct Saturn, and Saturn in conjunct his Venus-Saturn conjunction, which was his, point of wealth in his chart, and family wealth and family inheritance that he stole. He literally stole millions from his cousins and siblings because he set everything up that way with his dad. He got in there and did his thing. But Saturn will be helping him wake up to his own karma, because remember, Saturn is karmic, and it's squaring his, the nodes. And, like courts of law, his mind, talking about it, thinking about it, oh, what do I do? And this Saturn in conjunct Saturn and Venus is not going to be good for him financially at all. I think the things that will take him down will be these hearings and the insurrection, and Merrick Garland after he does his thing, and then Fani Willis. I think she'll be getting him too. So, yeah, messing with and tampering with the election, you don't get away with that. At least we shouldn't. They shouldn't get away with it. We will see. Okay, so Neptune to Mars. He's going to try to adjust by, poor me. I'm the victim here. No, you're not. You're the one that did it. And he's going to use it to try and grift more money, because it's a house of shared resources, to try and grift more money from his people. And he probably will, right? Till the day he dies, he's the grifter. Always be grifting is him. Grifting and golfing. So that's his motivation. I don't know that will change. There might be an adjustment, but we'll see. And then Pluto to Mars, an adjustment to what he really wants and what he goes after, will be a very powerful adjustment. This would be an adjustment in his power with his family and his children in the 5th house. Yeah, there's trouble there. God. Oh. Okay. So, yeah, can you guys tell I'm not the unbiased astrologer here? And if you want that, go somewhere else. because I'm for justice. I'm for equality and justice. So anyway, look at all these inconjuncts here coming down from the stellium that we have in Taurus. Uranus is waking us up to the safety that's needed, with Saturn squaring the nodes to the new laws that are needed for humanity and for government to run efficiently in safety, protecting the people in Aquarius. And he has Aquarius on his 7th house cusp, which would be, humanity. Well, he doesn't give a rat's ass about humanity. His heart is closed off. So Uranus here, this whole stellium up here, he's going to have to make the adjustment, and it could be quite shocking. the shocking adjustment that will trigger him in his deepest wounding, and the whole world will be seeing it. Okay? All right. I don't feel like going any further with this because it's just going to be a repetitive. That's the thing. When things are really strong in a chart, you'll get repeating messages, and that's the way it goes. Okay. So, oh yeah, this was a chart without all the scrigglies on it, so that without all my drawings on it, but I didn't show you that. Sorry. Now. Is this the last one? Well, should I leave it on his natal? Yeah, I'm thinking let's just do this. Okay, hold on. Let me scooch things over a little bit. So here we have the Sagittarius full moon that's happening. There, right there. Happening Tuesday, June 14th, 2022. Oh yeah, and his solar return this year doesn't look good. He's going to have it on the 13th because that's the day that the Sun returns to 22 degrees Gemini, 55 minutes. But anyway, the full moon, the Sagittarius super full moon, when I saw that and saw the degree, I'm like, oh, hey, wait, I think I know someone who has the moon at 21 degrees Sag. And so look at this. He's feeling this already because the moon's, by the time, this weekend, next week, it's because the moon is building up to it. Like we can see, hold on. Oops. See how it is? Well, here, let's do it this way. See how the moon's here, 18, when the hearings start, and then by the full moon on Tuesday. So the moon's it's affecting him in his sense of safety and values right here, now, today, and then it'll start affecting his mind, and he's going to be talking. Oops, I'm sorry, I wasn't showing that. He's going to be talking it up, and then by the time the moon hits the south node, it's like ruh-roh. And then it's going to go through his 4th house, and he's going to be wondering about more and more about his family. So maybe the revelation about his daughter and Don Jr., whatever they've said, maybe that doesn't come through until we have until maybe like Monday, Sunday. Well, maybe Monday. Because I don't know, if they'll go through the weekend or not. I don't know how many they're even doing. Is it 6, I think? But I'm not sure. But anyway, the transiting moon will affect him, his safety, his mind, and then his family, home, and the roots, the emotional roots, foundation of who he is. And we know he's like all over the place. It's all about control. So by the time the full moon comes around, it's on his moon. It's already crossed over his south node. He's having to make an adjustment to his financial situation and his family situation and his family of sycophants would be we could call it sycophants because they're all psychos, but his sycophants, that's his group. That's his group, the group consciousness that he carries. That's the maggots, right? So yeah. So there's the moon conjunct his moon. So the Sagittarius super full moon is on his moon, right? and it's going to be illuminating. We've got the sun up here illuminating everything as to his reputation and then to his past. And then we've got the moon at the other end illuminating, maybe by this time it'll be what the public is thinking about him, but it's going to be shining a light on his family and his emotional reputation and his roots, like all of that. Wow. Amazing. So, here's the beauty of astrology in action. So, yeah, okay, so that's it. I'm going to get this uploaded for you guys, and yeah, that's it. Okay, take good care.